What if I told you history is filled with stories so unbelievable they sound completely made up? A war that started over a stolen bucket, a dancing plague that swept through an entire city, a Templar knight sentenced to death, and the curse he left behind. And somehow, every one of these stories is true. Here are 5 history facts that sound fake, but aren't. Our first story takes us to a quiet spring day in Kentucky in the year 1876. Imagine stepping outside onto your farm, expecting nothing more unusual than a clear sky and a gentle breeze. Then suddenly, pieces of meat begin falling from above. Not one piece, not 2, hundreds of pieces. According to multiple witnesses, chunks of meat drifted down over an area roughly the size of a football field. Some pieces were small, while others were reportedly several inches long. The event became known as the Kentucky Meat Shower. Naturally, people were baffled. Where had the meat come from? Some believed it was a sign from God. Others thought it might be evidence of some strange atmospheric phenomenon. A few brave, or perhaps foolish, individuals even tasted the mysterious substance. Scientists eventually examined samples and proposed a less supernatural explanation. One theory suggested that a flock of vultures had collectively regurgitated partially digested meat while flying overhead, creating the bizarre rain of flesh witnessed below. Whether that explanation is correct remains a matter of debate, but nearly 150 years later, the Kentucky Meat Shower remains one of the strangest events ever recorded in American history, and it serves as a reminder that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that actually happened. Our next story begins in medieval Italy, where rival city-states often competed for power, wealth, and influence. Wars were fought over territory, trade routes, and political alliances. But one conflict became famous for a far stranger reason: a bucket. In the year 1325, tensions between the cities of Bologna and Modena had already been simmering for years. Then, according to tradition, soldiers from Modena raided Bologna and returned home with an unusual prize: a wooden bucket taken from a city well. To modern ears, it sounds almost ridiculous. Surely no one would go to war over a bucket, but the bucket became a symbol of a much deeper rivalry between the two cities. Soon, thousands of soldiers were mobilized. Armies marched. Battles were fought. Lives were lost. And all the while, the stolen bucket remained a source of mockery and pride. Today, the conflict is remembered as the War of the Bucket. The original bucket, or at least one believed to be connected to the story, is still displayed in Modena. It serves as a reminder that history is often stranger than fiction. Because sometimes, behind great battles and political struggles, there is also a wooden bucket quietly waiting to become part of history. Our next story takes us to the city of Strasbourg in the summer of 1518. At first, it seemed like an ordinary day. Merchants opened their shops, workers went about their business, and life continued as it always had. Then something strange happened. According to historical accounts, a woman stepped into the street and began to dance. There was no music, no celebration, no obvious reason at all. Yet she continued dancing for hours, then for days. Soon, other people began to join her. What started with a single dancer grew into dozens, then hundreds. Before long, large groups of people were dancing throughout the city. Many appeared unable to stop. Witnesses reported that some dancers continued for days, despite exhaustion, dehydration, and injury. The situation became so alarming that local authorities searched desperately for an explanation. Physicians, religious leaders, and city officials all offered different theories. Some believed it was caused by illness. Others thought it might be divine punishment. No one truly knew. Eventually, the outbreak faded away as mysteriously as it had begun. More than 500 years later, historians still debate what really happened in Strasbourg during that strange summer. Whatever the answer may be, the dancing plague remains one of history's most unusual and enduring mysteries. Our next story begins with one of history's most famous inventors. Nikola Tesla helped pioneer many of the technologies that power the modern world. But late in his life, Tesla made an extraordinary claim. He said he had designed a weapon so powerful that it could destroy aircraft from hundreds of miles away. Newspapers called it the death beam. According to Tesla, the weapon would make nations impossible to invade and could potentially end war forever. The announcement captured headlines around the world. Some people believed Tesla had created a revolutionary breakthrough. Others thought the aging inventor was making impossible promises. Despite years of speculation, no working version of the weapon was ever publicly demonstrated. When Tesla died in 1943, rumors spread that government officials examined his papers, searching for evidence of the mysterious device. To this day, historians continue to debate whether the death beam was a genuine scientific concept, an unfinished project, or simply an ambitious dream. Whatever the truth may be, Tesla's death beam remains one of history's most enduring technological mysteries. Our next story begins in medieval France. Jacques de Molay was the last Grand Master of the Knights Templar, one of the most powerful organizations in Europe. For years, the Templars had accumulated wealth, land, and influence. But in 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the arrest of Templar members across the kingdom. They were accused of crimes ranging from heresy to corruption. After years of imprisonment and trials, Jacques de Molay was sentenced to death. In 1314, he was brought before a crowd and condemned to be burned at the stake. According to legend, as the flames rose around him, de Molay declared that both King Philip and Pope Clement V would soon answer before God's judgment. What happened next helped create one of history's most famous curses. Within a year, both the Pope and the King were dead. Whether it was coincidence or something more, people across Europe began whispering about the dying Templars' final words. More than 700 years later, the curse of Jacques de Molay remains one of history's most enduring legends. Those were 5 history facts that sound completely fake, but actually happened. If you enjoyed this video, there's plenty more unbelievable history still to uncover, so be sure to subscribe for more bizarre history every week and tell me in the comments, which fact was the hardest to believe? Until next time, remember, history is often stranger than fiction.